Hello students, welcome to our channel Learning Zoology with AC. I am Dr. Aruna Chakravarti, Associate Professor of Zoology, Government Dungar College, Bikaner. Student, today we will discuss accessory respiratory organ in fishes. The development of accessory respiratory organ in fishes took place in order to cope with danger of dying, stream, reduction of large reservoir into small muddy pools and consequent scarcity of oxygen, and above all excess of carbon dioxide being dissolved to produce carbonic acid, a toxic chemical in aquatic habitat. The accessory respiratory organ enable the fishes to combat oxygen depletion in the water or to leave out water for short period. Several types of accessory respiratory organ have been evolved in different species of fishes. First of all, we discuss skin as an accessory respiratory organ. The skin of certain fishes, namely Anguilla, Periophthalmus and Polyphthalmus, becomes highly vascular and serves for exchange of gases like the frog. When these fishes come out of water for some time, in fact, these fishes habitually leave the water and migrate from one place to another through damp vegetation. During this period, the moist skin, richly supplied with blood, serves as an important organ for aerial respiration. In some fishes like Monopterus and Mastacymbalus, which live in oxygen deficient stagnant water, the skin is of little use of respiration but in play an important role in extracting oxygen from air when the fishes are exposed in drying up muddy pond or when moving out of water. The glandular secretion of the skin protect them from desiccation out of the water. Buccopharyngeal epithelium as a respiratory organ. This is the most primitive of all the adaptation and has been found in Monopterus, Electrophorus and Periophthalmus and Baleophthalmus. In these fishes, the epithelial lining of the buccal cavity is richly supplied by blood capillaries which form vascular network and thus form an efficient respiratory site. Gut epithelium. In several fishes, epithelial lining of certain parts of alimentary canal become vascular and modified to serve as a respiratory organ. It may be just behind stomach or intestine or rectum. Fresh air is drawn through mouth or anus, and after gaseous exchange, the gas is voided through the anus. In these fishes, the wall of the gut is modified to perform the respiratory function. The wall of the gut in these areas become thin due to the reduction of muscular layer. Outgrowth of pelvic fins. In American lungfishes, Lepidosiren, during breeding time, the pelvic fin of male become enlarged and grow filamentous vascular outgrowth which provide fresh oxygen to the guarded eggs. Now pharyngeal lungs, that is diverticulum as a respiratory organ. This is one step forward, and in this case some kind of definite pouch sac-like diverticula is gradually evolved and can store inhaled air for at least some time. Such structure has been found in the fishes belonging to the family Chlamydidae and in Amphipoenas cuchia, that is Cuchiae. In these fishes, pouch-like diverticuli develop from the pharynx to store air. In Channa mauritius and Channa striatus, suprabranchial chamber are developed in the roof of the buccopharynx. These cavities freely open into the pharynx and are lined with highly vascular respiratory epithelium that is raised into fold and tongues and show respiratory islets. In amphibious scutia, the air breathing organs are in the form of a pair of sacs located on the lateral side of the head. These are diverticuli of pharynx and are lined with vascular epithelium thrown into folds or ridges. Each sac is provided with inhalant and exhalant aperture. It is interesting to note that pharyngeal diverticulum developed prior to the development of the gills. This is because that the fry of hatched out during in muddy water. The respiratory epithelium of the air sac consists of vascular areas in the form of islets bearing many rosettes or papillae. The thin epithelium having network of capillaries cover the islets. When the muscles of the buccopharynx contract, mouth is kept closed and the air is expelled from the air sac into the opercular chamber through the exhalant aperture and then passes out via the external bronchial opening. When the mouth is open and the buccopharyngeal muscle relax, air rush to fill the vacuum in the air sac. Opercular chamber modified and adapted for aerial respiration. In some species, namely Sembranchus, Mormierot, and Periophthalmus, the inhaled air is passed through the gill slit into the opercular chamber where it is stored for some times. The opercular chamber becomes bulged out in the shape of two little balloons in the hidden region of the head, and after some time their wall collapses and the air is passed out through the small external bronchial opening. The membrane lining the operculum chamber becomes thin and highly vascular to allow exchange of respiratory gases. Important modifications in some of these species are described below. First of all, we discuss Heteropneustes fossilis, that is Sacobranchus. This Indian catfish has a pair of long tubular dorsally situated air sacs arising posteriorly from gill chamber and extending almost up to the tail. They are highly vascular. The air is drawn in and expelled out through pharynx. Now, Anabas testudineus. The Indian climbing perch has two spacious suprabranchial cavities as dorsal outgrowth of the two gill chamber. Each cavity contains a special labyrinthine organ formed of much folded concentric bony plates developed from the first epibranchial bone and covered with thin vascular mucous membrane. Margins of these plates are wavy and the plates are covered with vascular gill-like epithelium. Each branchial outgrowth communicates freely not only with the opercular cavity but also with buccopharyngeal cavity. Air is drawn through mouth into suprabranchial cavities and expelled through opercular opening. The fish is so dependent on atmospheric oxygen that it will drown if any access to surface to gulp air. Trichogaster fasciatus. The accessory respiratory organ in this fish consists of a suprabranchial chamber, a labyrinthine organ, and the respiratory membrane. The suprabranchial chamber is situated above the gill on either side as an anabas, communicates with the pharynx by means of inhalant aperture and with the exterior through the opercular chamber by means of an exhalant aperture. The labyrinthine organ developed from the epibranchial of the first gill arch and is simple in structure than that of Anabas. It is in the form of spiral organ possessing two leaf-like expansions and is composed of loose connective tissue covered by a vascular epithelium. The respiratory membrane lining the air chamber and covering the labyrinthine organ consists of vascular and non-vascular areas, of which the former possess a large number of islets containing parallel blood capillaries. The islets are believed to be derived from the secondary lamellae of typical gill filament. Clarius batrachus. The Indian catfish Clarius batrachus has the most complicated accessory respiratory organ. The accessory air breathing organ of this fish consists of the suprabranchial cavity or chamber, the two beautiful rosette or air trees or arborescent organ or dendritic organ, the fans and respiratory membrane. The suprabranchial chamber lies above the gills and is divided into two cup-like compartments and is lined by a highly vascular respiratory membrane. Two beautiful rosettes or dendritic organ are present on each side and are supported by epibranchial of the second and the fourth branchial arches. The first of these is smaller in size and lies in the anterior compartment. Each is a highly branched tree-like structure supported by cartilaginous internal skeleton. The terminal knobs or buds of each dendritic organ consists of a core of cartilage covered by vascular epithelium showing 8 folds in it. According to Datta and Munshi, each knob represents 8 abbreviated and fused gill filaments. Some of the primary gill lamellae of each gill arch are fused so as to form a fan or gill plate. Hence, there are 4 fans on either side and each consists of vascular and non-vascular areas. The respiratory membrane lining the suprabranchial chamber is also composed of vascular and non-vascular areas, of which the former show a large number of islets. According to Datta Munshi in 1961, the respiratory membrane has developed by the abbreviation and fusion of primary gill lamellae and shortening of secondary gill lamellae. Well-developed exhalant and inhalant apertures are present for the suprabranchial chamber. The fish rises to the surface of water and gulp in air, which from the pharynx enter into the suprabranchial chamber through the inhalant aperture. When the air enters the opercular cavity, it is directed into the suprabranchial chamber by the action of the 2 fans on the second and third gill arches. The exhalation of the air is affected by the contraction of suprabranchial chamber and the movement of the fans. This creates a partial vacuum in the suprabranchial chamber. The mouth is open and the buccopharyngeal cavity is enlarged to inhale air. Air bladder. Swim bladder of higher bony fishes, that is teleost, is essentially a hydrostatic organ, but in lower bony fishes, that is dipnoid and ganoid, the air bladder acts like a lung to breathe air and is truly an accessory respiratory organ. The wall of bladder is vascular and sacculated with alveoli. In Amia and Lepidosteias, the wall of the swim bladder is sacculated and resembles lung. In Polypterus, the swim bladder is more lung-like and gets a pair of pulmonary arteries arising from the last pair of epibranchial arteries. The swim bladder is dipnoid, resembles striking the tetrapod lung in structure as well as in function. In Neocerotodus, it is single, but in Protopterus and Lepidosiren, it is bilobe. The inner surface of the lung is increased by spongy alveolar structures. In this species, the lung is mainly respiratory in functions during aestivation because the gills become useless during this period. Like that of Polypterus, the lung in Dipnoan gets the pulmonary arteries from the last epibranchial arteries. The swim bladder of feathertail Notopterus has a wide pneumatic duct and network of blood capillaries covered by a thin epithelium in its wall. This helps in exchange of gases. Functions of accessory respiratory organ. The accessory respiratory organ contain higher percentage of oxygen. The fishes possessing such respiratory organ are capable of living in water where oxygen concentration is very low. Under this condition, these fishes come to the surface of water to gulp in air for transmission to the accessory respiratory organ. If these fishes are prevented from coming to the surface, they will die due to asphyxiation for want of oxygen. So, the acquisition of accessory respiratory organ in fishes in an adaptive features. Further, it has been observed that the rate of absorption of oxygen in such organ is much higher than the rate of elimination of carbon dioxide. Hence, it is natural that the gills secrete most of the carbon dioxide. Absorption of oxygen appears to be a primary function of the accessory respiratory organ. Origin and significance of accessory respiratory organ. During development, the fifth gill arch does not develop gill lamellae and its embryonic gill material form rudiment of the gill arch and aggregates to form structure called the gill mass. The air breathing organ or accessory respiratory organ develop from gill mass. In some species, the gill arches other than the fifth arch also take part in the formation of accessory respiratory organ. The gill lamellae, which normally develop on gill arches for aquatic respiration, become modified to form the respiratory epithelium of the suprabranchial chamber, dendritic organ and air sac for aerial respiration. According to Singh 1993, the air sac have evolved from the same basic material which has been raised to the gill in teleostean fishes. The accessory respiratory organ of Heteropneustes fossilis and Clarius are modifications of the gills. In this species, swim bladder is either absent or greatly reduced. During the tertiary and quaternary period of the Cenozoic era, the oxygen level of the atmosphere and of water was reduced due to depletion of oxygen in rivers and swamps. The gills were unable to cope with the requirement of the body. Hence, several teleostean species developed accessory respiratory organ to absorb oxygen from air. Most of the fishes possessing air breathing organ or accessory respiratory organ are capable of living in highly deoxygenated water of the swamps and muddy pond infested with weeds. They have been observed to gulp in air from the surface and to pass it to the accessory respiratory organs. If prevented from reaching the surface, these fishes die due to asphyxiation. This shows that the accessory respiratory organs are capable of maintaining life of the fish in oxygen deficient water. It has been shown that the absorption of oxygen in the accessory respiratory organ is much greater than the excretion of carbon dioxide. Hence, most of the carbon dioxide is excreted in the gills, and the chief function of the accessory respiratory organ is the absorption of oxygen required for the sustenance of life. So, student, thanks for watching.